When I first walked into St. Ignatius Loyola, a woman smiled at me and provided me with the program for that day's Mass. The program contained the entire Mass, including the songs, making it easy to follow, and a good portion of the people there were participating, especially the people more towards the front of the church. I found St. Francis of Assisi to be even more inviting. Although there was no choir, the two people who were singing wanted you to sing along. At the beginning of the Mass, they even took the time to go over the pieces that they would be singing and what our responses should be. Everything was shown in the program and followed the exact order of which it was printed. Although it's difficult to hear in the video, almost everyone that was in this church was singing along to the music. Though some may think that the reason I felt these churches promoted active participation and created an inviting environment is due to the lack of a language barrier, I also felt that St. Peter's Basilica provided me with this feeling. They had printed out a program that even had the English translation, so we were able to understand what was being said in the liturgy and the readings. It contained all the songs that were sung and followed in exact order. Even though I don't speak Latin or Italian, which most of the liturgy was in, I felt welcomed and invited to speak or sing along. The use of an extremely detailed program brought the people that were in St. Peter's together. There were people there from all over the world, and it felt like a small-town church with the level of unity it provided. The prayer of the faithful was even completed in different languages. This made it feel all-inclusive and not as though some of us were Americans, some of us were Italians, and others were of other ethnicities. I felt as though we were one, just a group of Christians gathered to attend Mass with the Pope. I truly respected the atmosphere they tried to create. It's not every day that you feel as though everyone fits in as one. I personally found Santa Maria to be very uninviting from the beginning. When we first walked in, we were not provided with a program for the Mass, nor were we greeted. Everyone seemed to be participating in internal expression and were not really following along or singing out loud. It did not feel like a community aspect at all, which made me feel unwelcomed. This was only one experience at this church, and apparently the 11 a.m. Mass was very different than the one we attended, which was said to be lively and very much like a community. St. Mark's Basilica was extremely disconnected and uninviting. When we first walked into the church, there were programs on some chairs and not on others, and we were unsure where we could even find them. They also had a second booklet that had all of the music, but some of us were not provided with it. Once they started the Mass, I assumed that it would be easy to follow along considering they had printed out the program for the Mass, but this was not the case. They began skipping things or pages completely that were in the program, so when they sang a song we were not able to follow along. It felt almost as though they did not want you to participate in the Mass and that we should just be observing. I even felt this way due to the physical and spiritual separation from the Patriarch. He was behind pillars and was not facing the people. I felt this was a place to experience more of an internal expression rather than external. This made me feel really alone during the Mass. I kept finding my mind drifting away to other things and had to try to refocus. After meeting with the maestro, he made it clear that he also was very upset with the programs and that they are not normally incorrect. On other Mass days, there may be possibility for greater participation, but due to the error the day we went, the possibilities for us to participate were limited. Although on the days we attended Mass at Santa Maria and St. Mark's Basilica, the active participation was low, I do believe that they were just bad experiences, and on other days they would have been able to create a more active and inviting environment, which I would have enjoyed much more.